underthetablehot sauce.com. 13 unique flavors to choose from, created and bottled in a Long Island kitchen. Underthetablehot Let's go chow, JB.
Let's do it.
All the flavor, twice the burn.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte DeFaro, produced out of Indie Music TV, which we just found out that the box of wine is empty.
That's rough. It's rough.
Our special guest, welcome aboard, Mr. Wolfie D. How are you, sir?
Man, thank you guys for having me, man. It's my pleasure to be here.
It's our honor to have you, sir, for sure.
Thank you.
Obviously, for the fans, we realize that your other half is in here, and neither is his father.
Well, he gets a pass. Bill gets a pass.
Why does the father get a pass?
Because Bill is in bad health. Bill has
Superstar Bill Dundee.
Yes, Bill has he's dealing with dementia and things like that. He has a person, like, he was unable to get on the plane by himself, and the person that travels with him and does some of the booking for him and things like that is evidently having heart troubles, was in the hospital, so Bill gets a pass. Jamie, however, JC Ice, Jamie Dundee, does not get a pass with me. And in the past, I don't know, 12 hours, I've decided that this is why we broke up, this kind of stuff right here, man. He's a selfish, unprofessional fucking asshole, to be quite frank about it. You heard it here. I've really washed my hands with him at this point, because I also just found out probably about an hour ago from Dangerous Doug Gilbert. He actually talked to Jamie. Jamie hasn't answered Eric's calls, my calls, for about the past 24 hours. And he talked to Doug today through text and sent a text. Doug screenshot and showed it to me, that it said, I don't know what Doug didn't show me what he said. It probably had something to do with, hey, I got a booking for you, something. Well, Jamie's answer was, laughing my ass off, book it, I'll be there, LOL. So he knows what he's doing. He knows we're trying to get in touch with him. What he doesn't really fucking understand is how many people this has affected. You know, you guys were expecting to have both of us here. The virtual signing I just did probably suffered a little bit because, you know, unfortunately being a tag team sometimes sucks when you got a fuck up partner like him that, you know, the people want both of us, you know. I didn't get over just by being Wolfie D. Although I was the creator of the gimmick, I wrote all the raps, the Nation of Domination rap. I did all that shit, and they still want the two and not just the one. But I'm telling you, this one made the fucking team and carried us along. And to this day, I'm still the business professional. I'm not sitting here trying to put myself over, but I'm really fucking pissed off at him that he's fucked so many people.
Would
today.
it be fair though? I mean, and I'm saying this respectfully.
Yeah.
During your professional career with him, you were the Genetti, right? Is that a fair comment? And you allowed yourself to be the Genetti?
I don't think so. I don't think, not to that degree. I was the workhorse of the team, but I could talk.
You were the wrestler. You were the wrestler, but you weren't like the front man. Right?
Yeah,
you were the guy.
He was the stick guy, you know, and a lot of times Jamie's shit was cheap heat anyway, but. In the ring, we were great together, and you know, maybe you could compare it like that, but I don't think he wasn't Sean. I'll tell you that much. You know, Jamie got over because he's so over the fucking top that, you know, and people want to hear that type of shit, and that's fine, and I get it. And Jamie's a funny fucker, man. He really is. I could, you know, after spending so many years with him, I can only take him in doses, but. He is funny, man. Some people are annoyed by him, and he rubs them the wrong way.
I got to go back to what you said.
Okay.
Right? I'm just telling you personally.
Yeah.
I didn't really, you know, just seeing Jamie Dundee. How did you deal with that shit? That had to be a living fucking torture. I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
It was like hearing that bullshit all day long.
Oh yeah, because it's a lot of rehash. To the person that hasn't been around him, it's great. You know what I mean? But I've heard the same shtick over and fucking over and fucking over. But I mean, there were some funny times, and he's done some funny stuff, man. I mean, him confronting. Have you heard the story of him and Kim Shamrock?
No.
So. It's Ken Shamrock's first day in WWE, or F back then. I don't remember where we were, but the dressing room was just one big room, you know, lockers all around. It was some big arena, obviously like a team locker room, you know. So there's a big open area. Well, it's kind of early in the day. Ken's already dressed, okay? And he's sitting over there real serious, not really talking to anybody. And Jamie was a big UFC mark, you know, because that was kind of in the days when it wasn't as over as it is now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He
was in the and he was a big mark for it. So Jamie looks over there from across the room now, and there's all the guys sitting in there. You got, you know, everybody. And Jamie looks at him, and he sticks his leg out. He stands up, he sticks his leg out, and he goes, "Are you Ken Shamrock?" And Ken's like, "Yeah." You know, like, who the fuck is this dude? Ken, you know, don't know Jamie from fucking Adam. Jamie sticks his leg out, and he pats it. He said, "Why don't you jump on in here and get you some of that?" And fucking, brother, the whole locker room was like, "Ooh!" And Ken just Ken's like, looking at it like, who is this motherfucker? Then, because everybody's kind of laughing and shit, and then he kind of looks, and then he gets a grin on his face and everything. And I don't remember how Jamie ended, but only Jamie can get away with shit. If I would have done that to Ken, he'd probably jump up and tackle me.
Right, yeah.
But Jamie could get away with shit like that. He also had this thing that he would do, and I want to say it was that same night. Have you seen the two guys that do the dick tricks as a comedy routine?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, sure.
Jamie's the fucking originator of that shit. I promise you this. He's got a very little Peter, okay? So it's not offensive. That's what he used to tell everybody. I can do this and it's not offensive. He did it in Denny's one time. Pulled his fucking pants down, okay? And he'll twist it where his nuts are on top and his dick's on the bottom. And he had a name for that. I forget what that was. Then he'd tuck it between his legs and get on all fours and crawl around. He called that the bulldog. Just all kinds of shit like this. And fucking that night, he was doing it in the floor. And he was actually in the floor doing it. And Taker walks in. And they knew each other from past. Jamie knew all of them from the past. And that's kind of why he was so brash there, because he didn't come in humble. He knew all the guys. You know what I mean? So Taker walks in, he says, "Jamie, I'd shake your hand, but every time I see you, you're playing with your dick."
There you go. Oh my
Shit
God.
like that. But he got away with shit like, and did it in Denny's. Swear to God, true story. Did it in Denny's. Had the cooks out laughing at everybody. It was the middle of the night. Him and Brian Lawler all jacked up.
How was Brian Lawler? Did you get along with that guy?
Yeah, I got along with Brian. I loved working with Brian. Brian was a great worker. We had great matches against each other as well as with each other. And as a person, now we all know he had his demons and shit like that. And when he would get really fucked up, he was a weird motherfucker, man. Like, he would get very violent and things like that. But then the other Brian was the guy that would, you know, take kids and do special things for them at the shows, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I liked Brian, man.
You've been the partner of a you know, the son of a Dundee, and
Yeah.
you've gotten to know the son of a Lawler. Mm-hmm. How heavy is the weight for those guys to have to carry the shadows of their fathers?
I think that's probably both of them's. That was their downfall, was that, you know. And Bill Jamie would tell me stories, you know. He was never around, first of all, because that was in his heyday, you know. He was never around. And when he was, you know, wasn't a father to him. And Lawler wasn't really, I've always said this, man, with Kevin and Brian, was more like their buddy than their dad, you know. At Brian's funeral, though, I saw a whole different side of Jerry. You know, he broke down, cried. That's the first time I'd ever seen Jerry show any kind of emotion like that and things like that. But yeah, man, Bill used to fucking, you know, slap Jamie, but Jamie would steal from him. He'd steal his gimmick money and like go to the arcade. And one time Bill tracked him down at the arcade and fucking spun him around and slapped the fucking shit out of him right there at the fucking middle of the arcade and shit. So I mean, it's got to be heavy. It really does. You know, Brian got ribbed heavily when he first went to WWE. You heard the stories about that. They duct taped him to the fucking toilet and all kinds of shit.
No, can you tell one?
That one I know. I wasn't there.
Duct taped him to the toilet?
Yeah, he was taking a shit, and JBL, I don't know, somebody else, they went in and duct taped him literally to the fucking toilet.
Wow. What's your memories of JBL? Is he the asshole everybody seems to, you know, hear about? Or what?
He was all right with me, man. He thought we ribbed him one time and was going to get him back, and we really didn't. It was early, and we was at an arena that had a gym in it, right? And we walked down there, and we saw that it was open, and it was open. People were in there working out. And as we were walking back, we passed him. You know, in some of those arenas, there's a long walk. So as we pass him, he's like, "Hey, is the gym open?" He's like, "Yeah." So he just turned around and went and got dressed. Well, by the time he got back down there, it was closed.
Oh my God.
So he comes to us, oh, that's fucking real funny, guys, real fucking funny. I'm going to get you. Man, we swear to God, it was open.
I want to go back to Brian now.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on what happened that night in that cell? I mean, obviously you don't know, but I just want you to share your thoughts. I mean, it's such an open case. Like, how does this even happen?
Well, I think it's fucking weird that the cameras just happen to be out, or so they say, you know, and that nobody was watching. They say he had defensive marks on the insides of his hands, and that the marks on his neck didn't go right here where his hands were. So there's marks around here. And I don't see, how the fuck do you hang yourself from a jail bunk? I've been in jail, and it's not that high. How the fuck do you hang yourself from that unless you just kick your feet out and kind of slump down? And I don't. Right. It doesn't make sense to me, man. And I think Brian liked Brian too much to do something like that. But at the same time, you never know what state of mind he was in. I know that he had, was telling his dad on the phone, before that happened that day, and I think the previous day, stuff like that. Dad, you got to get me out of here. These motherfuckers are corrupt, and this sheriff don't fucking like me, and blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, if I was just a guessing man, I think something shady happened.